Now in this section, we are going to learn how to create the radio buttons just like this in our Flutter application, and they are really simple, just like the pop-up menu button. So initially we have this application which has nothing for now. So go down here, we have the scaffold app bar within the text of radio buttons Flutter. So now in here, in the body of the scaffold, we are going to have the list view and the property children which accepts the list of widgets. And inside the list view children, we are going to have the radio widget which comes from the Flutter material design, and it has some required properties or compulsory properties that are value, group value and the on change. So we set the value to 0 as this is going to be our first radio button, and we set our group value to selected radio, meaning that when this radio will be selected, and therefore we create an integer variable in the stat selected radio to 0, and simply in the onChange method, it has again the same return type of void, and in the function it accepts the integer. So here in the body of this onChange method, we will set the stat and the selected radio will becomes equal to the radio index which is specified right here. When this onChange method is called just like this gives us the index of that radio button, and then simply in the setStat method inside this onChange method, we set that selected index in our selected radio variable, and simply by passing in the group value we got this radio button selected, and that's how this radio button works. Now put the comma in here, copy this and paste it 2 more times, and simply change their values just like this and they will work the same. Now in case of this radio which is on the 1 index, what will happen in here? We have the value 1 and the group value pass the same, and when this onChange method is called, meaning that when this radio is clicked, so this accept the radio of type integer, this will give us the index of that radio which is 1, and simply we set the selected radio index in our selected radio variable, and as this selected radio is also passed in the group value, so it means this radio will be selected, and the same will be for this third radio button. So that's how these radio buttons can be created in Flutter application, and that's how they work. Now after this, Ctrl+S to hot reload, and we got these 3 buttons. Now our first radio is selected just because we have set our selected radio to 0, and now this condition is true, our group value is equal to 0, so it means this is selected. Now when we click this second, so what happens in the radio 1? Simply onChange method called, and it set the variable of selected radio to the index of that radio which is 1, and this variable got the 1 index, and simply just because of this group value this radio 1 got selected, and the same will be for this radio 2 index when we click this, and they can be selected just like this. Now to put some title in front of them, we are going to have, let's go for the first radio and wrap this with the widget. So we wrap our first radio button with the list style widget, and in the leading property we pass our same radio button, and in the title of the list style we pass simply the text widget and Flutter app development. Ctrl+S to hot reload, and we got some title in front of it, and we got this radio selected for now. Now the same will be for these other 2, and we got the same for the other 2 radio buttons. We wrap them with the list style, and the leading we pass the same radio, and in the title we pass the end right, and for the third list style which has the radio of value 2, and in the title of this we pass the iOS app development. Now after this, Ctrl+S to hot reload, and we got these 3 radio buttons just like this. So that was a simple way to work with the radio button widget provided by our Flutter material design.